All right, good evening. Today is Monday, October 30th. My name is President Heminger. This is the October General Membership Meeting of the Arlington NAACP. Sister Dunkley, I see that you're on with us. Would you, we missed you at the Freedom Fund Banquet. Would you mind opening us up in a brief word of prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, we come, Father God, thanking you for another day. Thank you, Father God, for just keeping us, Father God, from all hurt, harm, or danger. Lord God, as we prepare to go into this meeting on tonight, Father God, let everything be done decent and in order. And you would get all the glories. In the precious name of Jesus that I do pray. Amen.
Amen and amen. All right, Sister Dunkley, did you hear the good news?
I heard
What'd you hear?
that I got one of the awards.
Yeah, you got a President's Award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
so
you.
proud of you. No, thank you. And we didn't get to tell you in at the Freedom Fund Banquet, so I want to just take a point of personal privilege and just to express my, deepest thanks. You're always present, always doing your thing. When we had the backpack drive, I know you pulled me to the side and gave me some wise counsel. So I just appreciate all that you do for the association and for our community. Really appreciate it.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Secretary, would you mind calling the roll?
Certainly. We have President Heminger, who is present. First Vice President James Younger.
Present.
Second Vice President Laurel Langhorne.
Present.
I'm Secretary Wanda Younger, present. Assistant Secretary Kathleen McSweeney.
Present.
Treasurer Adriana Spain will not be present this evening. Executive Committee at Large Karen Nightingale.
Present.
Executive Committee at Large Kelly Macbeth. Kelly Macbeth. Executive Committee at Large Nadia Conyers.
Present.
Communications Leah Matterall. Leah Matterall. Criminal Justice Heather Kelly. Heather Kelly. Education Tia Alfred.
Present.
Environmental and Climate Justice Julia Spain.
Present.
Thank you. Health Tasia Iglesias. Tasia Iglesias. Housing Wells Harrell will be late. Legal Redress Amy Stitzel.
Present.
Political Action Jan Marie Pena.
Present.
Thank you. Religious Affairs Pastor Davis. Pastor Davis. Religious Affairs Rosa Dunkley is present. Scholarship Adora Williams. Adora Williams. And that concludes the roll call.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. All right, next up is National has a established way for all branches to conduct their meeting, a very specific order. We'd like to do something different. We have some special guests, so in order for us to do that, we do need to suspend the rules and adopt the agenda that the Executive Committee approves. So at this time, are there any motions on the floor from any members?
So moved.
I make a motion to suspend the rules.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a motion on the floor. It's been properly seconded. Is there any further discussion on suspending the rules? Great. Hearing none, will all those in favor of suspending the rules this evening, please signify by saying aye.
All right.
Okay.
All those opposed have the same right. Are there any abstentions? Okay, great. That motion passes. Before we get into the next item, Madam Secretary, could you bring up Political Action Chair for a brief moment as well?
Certainly.
And then Madam Political Action Chair, if you could just say a couple words so we could find you in the audience.
There, I'm here. I'm sorry I can't come on camera, but I'm here.
Okay, that's all right. I just wanted to take another moment just to recognize you. We didn't get to honor you at the Freedom Fund Banquet, so just wanted to celebrate you and congratulate you on winning the President's Award. I've told you many times, many different ways that we really couldn't do it without you. And so just incredibly proud of all the hard work that you've done, and looking forward to what you're going to do next year. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, next up is our financial report for September. Unfortunately, our treasurer couldn't be with us. She's away on travel with work. So we're going to move that report unless there's any objection to next month's meeting, and we'll just approve both of those reports. The executive committee did approve the September financial report with no issues. So without objection, I'd like to move that to the November general membership meeting. All right, moving us along to just some personal remarks. Thank you all so much for coming out and supporting us at the 76th annual Freedom Fund Banquet. I've heard nonstop positive feedback since we had the event. It really was a world-class event. And so I just want to thank all of you that were able to make it or donated. It was an exceptional event. And if you didn't make it this year, we do one of these every year. So next year will be even bigger and even better. I want to personally thank past President Spain and the banquet chair, past President Nightingale, for all of their hard work. These two individuals especially were working around the clock, night and day, to make sure that the event was successful. And so I'm truly forever indebted to both of you and forever grateful for all of your work and your service to the association. Because of your efforts, we were able to pull off such a successful event. So thank you so much. Next up, I want to just talk briefly about the Virginia State Conference, or Virginia State Convention, I should say. That convention was originally scheduled to happen this past weekend. The State Conference Executive Committee convened a session, a special call session, and they decided to postpone that convention to November 11th. Is that right, Madam Secretary?
That is correct.
Okay, great. So we went from a weekend event to a one-day event. They're going to consolidate everything. So just wanted to give the branch a heads up. For those that were scheduled to be delegates this past weekend, your registration fees as well as your meals were already covered. So be on the lookout. There's an email from the secretary. We just need to confirm whether or not you're going to be in attendance at that convention. Madam Secretary, am I missing anything on that?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, great. I'm going to come back to the next item on the agenda, but before I do, have a couple other items I wanted to briefly bring before the membership. In a moment, I'm going to drop a petition in the chat, and I'd like for all of you to take a moment before the night is over to affiliate yourself with this petition. I'll read a paragraph to give you a little bit more context. So the subject of this petition is to redesignate Arlington House as a National Historic Site. In 2021, descendants of enslaved and free ancestors who lived, worked, and died at the Arlington House Plantation came together for the first time since 1861. We raise our voices in unity, calling for the name of Robert E. Lee to be removed from the site known today as Arlington House, the Robert E. Lee Memorial. The National Park site should be redesignated as Arlington House National Historic Site. Congress named the site, and only Congress has the authority to redesignate the site. The Washington Post published an op-ed, which I encourage you all to read, by the descendants of the Lee and Syphax families. So at some point before the night is over, I hope that you will take a moment to click the link that I just dropped into the chat. And again, affiliate yourself with this branch, but also with this petition. I think many of you will know that past President Spain, as well as this branch, was very involved in getting our county's logo changed. And so this kind of follows in suit with that and aligns very closely with our values. So just one more time, I want to encourage you all to take a moment to get that done. We know that our Congressman Byer, is also a big supporter of this. So just be on the right side of history and affix your name to this incredible movement. All right. Next up, I want to take a quick moment to celebrate the Political Action Committee for some of the work that they've done. They've done a lot of work behind the scenes, and particularly one of our super members, Detta, you may know her, but I just want to take a couple moments to read some of the results that they were able to accomplish just this year. So bear with me. This is from our Political Action Committee. Together, we've done a great job spreading voting fever. Also, yesterday was Souls to the Polls, so I'll have a brief update on that in a moment. In terms of stats for AHC properties, which is one of our affordable housing properties located in Arlington and across the region, our Political Action Committee knocked on 2,470 doors, spread over 13 events. So a conservative rule of thumb is that we reach an average of 30% of residents at a door-to-door event. So that would be about 741 conversations with AHC residents. Simply incredible. One more quick update. All right. So let me just find the gist of here. All right. The main focus of voter engagement is to encourage people to vote in the current year and every year. Good conversations are essential to that goal. This year, the voter engagement team knocked on 3,250 doors, spread over 21 events. Again, a good rule of thumb is engagement is usually about 30%. So at AHC properties, Political Action Committee members led by Detta had about 1,000, just under 1,000 conversations, and participated in 22 voter registration festivals, picnics, food distributions, and many other events. So I wanted to just take a quick moment to highlight that. A lot of the work that happens in our committees really happens behind the scenes, and we see these incredible results or these updates that get sent to the executive committee or myself or the secretary, but we don't do enough justice in getting some of these accomplishments out. I always tell folks wherever I go that we're one of the most active, most engaged branches in the entire country. So much so that National is looking at our branch to potentially draft policies for the national organization. So wanted to just take a moment to celebrate our Political Action Committee, but to also celebrate this branch. Take a moment to pat yourself on the back. You're a part of an awesome, awesome association, and we're making a real difference in the lives of so many. Next up, I wanted to see if we could bring up Miss Carol Lieber. Carol, are you with us this evening? I think I see you in the chat. Did we lose you, Carol? You're on mute if you're speaking. There you are. All right, folks, I wanted to bring up Miss Carol Lieber. We like to recognize our Silver Life members, and our newest Silver Life member is Carol Lieber. And if you're not familiar with the Silver Life program, I encourage you to learn more. Our Life members are among our most loyal supporters. We know that they're going to have our back through and through. And again, they have a lifetime membership. So Carol never again has to worry about renewing her NAACP membership because she's a Life member. And so I wanted to just, Carol, bring you up, see if you wanted to take a couple moments to address the membership and then to just thank you for your generous donation. You're on mute still. You're not able to come off mute. There you go. Try now. Oh, you can't speak. All right. We'll come back to you. If you're able to speak later, just send me a chat. But on behalf of the association, I just wanted to thank you so much. And folks, again, we don't have an auto renewal for your membership. So I know a lot of you think your membership is current, but it's not. So please either reach out to us or check that email. I encourage you all also to become a Silver Life member as well. Okay. Next up, I want to move to after-school programming. I think we know, or we should all know, that our kids are overdosing in schools. They're dying. They have nothing to do. We've called on county government. We've called on the school system to do their part, and we can't wait. We got people dying in our community, in the schools, and so we have to do everything that we can, and that's exactly what this branch is doing. Many of our executive committee members have formed a community coalition targeted with preventing youth overdoses in our schools. So There is a awesome cohort of folks that are meeting almost bi-weekly. We are moving full speed ahead to get a proposal before the county manager. We're hoping to use some carryover funds to help provide some type of programming for our kids. We know just because of the economic climate that we're in, that folks are working 2 and 3 and 4 jobs. We know that our adolescents and youth are called on at a younger age than ever before to care for intergenerational households. And we also know that because there's nothing for our kids to do after school, we know that they're getting pressured into drugs and unfortunately dying. And so we're not going to sit idly by. We're not going to allow our kids just to pass. And so we're going to do all that we can, everything in our power to make sure that we provide after school programming, mentorship, resources, whatever it takes for our young people in our community. And so stay tuned. There's going to be more to follow, but I hope that you will join us in this effort. I want to take us back just momentarily because Detta was just joining. So Detta, I wanted to bring you up just briefly. We were celebrating all of the hard work from Political Action and all the hard work that you've done with AHC and APA. Just incredible, thousands and thousands of conversations. And so we're so proud of you. Thank you so much. I don't know how you do it, but did you want to take a couple moments and just tell everybody a little bit about what you've been up to the past couple months?
Well, I don't know. I'm sorry I'm late, and I don't know how much has already been said, but the way we look at it, we feel like people, well, you don't have a democracy if people don't vote. And there's so many people throughout this area, throughout the whole state, that don't know that there's an election every year in Virginia. So the way we look at it is not sort of voter registration. We look at it as voter engagement and trying to have conversations with people about voting, about how important it is to vote every year. And we have, great people who have joined us, volunteers who just get it, that, that we're there to celebrate voting. And so that's kind of what we do. We knock on doors and we have as many conversations as we can. So it's been a good year and I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm tired for you, Detta. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to express my deepest gratitude. I mean, I read the numbers that you sent over to me, to the members that are present tonight, and it's just simply astonishing, So yeah, just incredibly grateful for all of your hard work. Folks, you can see we're changing hearts and minds every single day. We need your help. If you're not plugged into a committee, Political Action is a great first place to come in and to get directly engaged. And there's a lot of great leaders that will take you under their wing and to show you the ropes. So we need your help. We need all hands on deck. We know that we have fewer rights today than we did yesterday. So please don't sit idly by and allow that to happen. We need your help. Detta, thank you so much. All right, next up, I just wanted to talk briefly about our general membership meeting, and I believe our second VP will have more remarks, but save the date, 12/18, we'll be back in person. We're having a holiday party, and I hope to see every single one of you there. And again, our second VP will share more details in a moment. I also just want you to put on your calendars, the movie The Color Purple is going to be coming out in December. We've been encouraged by NAACP National to encourage all of our members to get out and enjoy the show. It's sponsored by Oprah and a lot of other heavy hitters. And it's going to be coming out on Christmas Day. So stay tuned to January. We might do something with the local theater if it's feasible. But if not, take your friends, family, neighbors, your community, and go and support that movie. We're told it's going to be a really, really great movie. All right, next up, Spring Block Party. It's going to be on Souls to the Polls. So as soon as the electoral board and Department of Elections decides when Souls to the Polls will be, we'll likely have a big, huge Spring Block Party. So just stay tuned for more details to come on that. We talked about convention already. I wanted to bring up two of our new chairs. Madam Secretary, could you bring up the chair of our legal redress and chair of our youth council? Could you bring those two up briefly?
Certainly.
So while they're being brought up, the executive committee made 2 new appointments, one to legal redress and one to our youth council. These appointments are hot off the press. It hasn't even been a month, but both of these individuals have already hit the ground running. And when I say running, I mean running full speed ahead. And so, Madam Legal Redress Chair, if you wouldn't mind just telling the membership a little bit about, what you've been up to and how you've been kind of occupying your time since you've been appointed.
Hi, everyone. Amy Stitzel here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the appointment. I was very excited once I moved back in the area to join NAACP and privileged to help on legal redress. So basically, people in the community call into someone or submit a contact form with legal questions or questions in the criminal justice area. And we try to help them navigate the system, not giving legal advice, but to help them navigate it and direct to potentially an attorney if there's some follow-up that they may need. So just learning it, still need to go through all the training, but appreciate being part of this fight for justice.
Right. So our new chair has been really, really active with stuff that's been going on in the jails. And I'm going to share more about that in a moment. So Madam Legal Redress Chair, thank you so much for all that you have done and all that you will do in the future. I truly appreciate it. All right, next up is another rock star. The chair of our new youth council, again, has already hit the ground running. So Ms. Nadia, why don't you go ahead and tell our members a little bit about what you've been up to?
Good evening, everyone. We had our first meeting of the youth council today at IDEO with the young people who were most interested in participating. We had 3 African-American males to come and to share their thoughts and ideas about starting the youth council. And we have our 5 steps ahead of us. And we plan on completing our 5 steps by the end of November. Hopefully before Thanksgiving. That's our goal. We have our second meeting Monday at 5. We're going to be sending it out to the executive board to see if anyone would like to just join and introduce yourself. You don't have to stay. Just to let the young people know that you're there and encourage them to keep going. They have some phenomenal ideas and they're ready to work. So we're excited to get the young people in the mix. Because we know that if we don't have some foot soldiers to come behind us, then it's no point in even keeping the work going if we're going to let it die out when we're gone. And we have some energetic young people, so we need to keep them engaged and support them and encourage them to keep the mission going. So they're excited.
I'm excited too, and I know they're ready to lead. I want to thank you for all that you've done, all that you will do. And can we bring up past President Spain just for a moment? I'm going to put him on the spot since he loves to put me on the spot so much. Past President Spain was at, I believe, an event recently with a bunch of young people. Was that you or was that Adele, past president? And you had some ideas with the youth council. Is that right?
It was in Woodbridge, Mr. President. It was out of our jurisdiction, but yes, I was speaking with about 50 youth about civic engagement down at Northern Virginia Community College this past Saturday. It was great.
All right, awesome. Our young people need strong mentors and they need strong leaders. If you're looking to get plugged in, I want to encourage you to help support the Youth Council or really any committee. We need your help. It's all hands on deck, everybody. Okay, all right. Next up is just an update. We need to take a formal vote here. So I'd like everyone to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. In recent weeks, since the most recent death in the jail, our executive committee has been extremely active. We have met with several people directly impacted by the system, people that have worked in the jail, that have formerly worked in the jail. We've had a lot of conversations and taken a lot of action. If you were on last month's meeting or you attended that Freedom Fund banquet, you have an idea of all that we have done at this branch to make sure that people in our jail stop dying. But they continue to die. They continue to be people of color, and they continue to die, unfortunately, because their basic needs, their basic health needs are not being met. So several members of this executive committee had a call with the state conference. And in that meeting, we were calling on the state conference to do more. We had briefed the state conference on everything we had done so far. And at that point, state conference actually brought in representatives from the general counsel's office at NAACP National. Those individuals were so impressed with what we had done so far. We had let no stone unturned. We had left no person uncontacted. We had written so many letters, op-eds, the press was involved. I think somebody saw the video at the Freedom Fund banquet this past weekend. So you know that we had done everything possibly imaginable that we could do at the branch level to make sure that deaths in the jail stopped happening. The result of the conversation that we had with state conference and NAACP general counsel was they are ready, willing, and able to intervene. Even now, there are folks in the general counsel's office that are reviewing and synthesizing hundreds and hundreds of pages of research that this branch has compiled. And so we are formally calling on National to intervene on our behalf. What that looks like, we're not sure, but in order for us to seek intervention from National, the membership of this branch needs to take a vote. And so at this time, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the vote that's gonna be presented. So the vote that we're getting ready to vote on is to allow NAACP National to assist and or intervene on our behalf. That could come in the form of a lawsuit. That could come in the form of NAACP, issuing their own FOIAs. That could come in the form of NAACP National calling on the Department of Justice to conduct an independent investigation. There's a lot of different routes that National could take, but in order for us to do that, we do need to take a vote. And so I'll pause to see if there are any motions or votes on the floor from a member.
I make a motion to allow NAACP National to assist or intervene on our behalf in terms of filing a lawsuit, issuing FOIAs, or calling on the Department of Justice to conduct an investigation.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Who was that?
Rosa.
Thank you, Sister Dunkley. Okay, at this time, there's a motion on the floor to formally call on NAACP National to intervene in Arlington County regarding the deaths in the jails. It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Is there any further discussion? Will all those members in favor of the National General Counsel taking action, would you please signify by saying aye?
Aye.
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 Will all those opposed please say nay? Are there any abstentions?
It looks like there's a hand raised. Christine Gregory.
Christine Gregory, I see your hand is raised.
That's a mistake. I didn't mean my hand. I thought you were gonna ask for raised hands instead of ayes and nays. Sorry.
So it sounds like you're voting in the affirmative. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, that motion passes. What's going to happen next is the secretary will prepare the minutes from tonight, signifying that this membership and this branch has formally voted for National to take action and or to intervene. Once we send that to state conference and to National, we can continue the next steps down the road. And so I want to just thank you all so much for that vote of confidence and that vote in the affirmation. Like I said, we've done everything that we can, but unfortunately, our people of color continue to die in the jail. And so we're not going to sit idly by. Stay tuned for what's going to come next. Okay, thank you so much. All right, next up, I'd like to bring up our past president and chair of the Environmental Climate Justice Committee, and he will take from there. So past president, the floor is yours.
You want to put me back in the saddle, Mr. President?
Back in the saddle, sir.
Yo, begged over. You got me here. Good afternoon, everyone, and good evening. This is the first time we have, for this year, brought together our environmental climate justice team to, one, introduce you or reintroduce you to environmental climate justice. Two, so you can really know what that's all about. And three, hear about what's going on at the local level, right? As we talk about environmental climate justice, what's going on at the state level, right? And some working relationships that we have as well. That's talking about EcoAction Arlington. And then more importantly, where the NAACP National stands on environmental climate justice, right? I still have folks who ask me, like, what does environmental climate justice mean? So you know what we did? We went and got the person in charge for national NAACP. She's the director. She'll be with us later tonight, but we're going to start off the conversation or just the updates by having Heather from EcoAction. Heather, are you with us? Oh,
yes.
Heather here. She's so Heather joins us from EcoAction Arlington. One of our partners, NAACP and EcoAction, has been working together for a number of years. As many of you know, we did a video together a few weeks back talking about tree canopy, but we want Heather and her team to come on board just a little bit, talk about, we did a $60,000 grant, kind of like pass through from the Lutheran Church to EcoAction Arlington. Talk specifically, who's laughing? Someone's giggling? Okay, I thought I heard a giggle. And let Heather just talk a little bit about what's going on at EcoAction Arlington. So Heather, without further ado, the floor is yours for about 5-10 minutes, and then we're going to come on with our next guest, and we can also open up to questions. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's really lovely to be here. My name is Heather Jeff, and I'm the Fundraising and Development Manager for EcoAction Arlington. Thank you for having us tonight. It's truly an honor. I'm going to start briefly at the beginning of where we started and where we're going and where we'll hope to be tomorrow. So for just a little background, EcoAction Arlington has been in the county for 46 years. We were originally known as ACE, Arlingtonians for a Clean Environment. And EcoAction has a very, very grassroots format. In the beginning, it was basically cleaning up litter, a couple staff members, a little bit of county funding, and a lot of volunteer support. What makes us different is we are not here to fix the planet. That's too big for us. But what we are focused on is Arlington County, and with our Energy Masters program, we also stretch over into Alexandria. So our primary focus is where we live. So we keep our influence tight, and we try to make small yet significant changes within our neighborhoods to help our neighbors. We've just updated our mission this year. Our board and staff spent some time reimagining it, and I'm just going to read you the mission statement just so you kind of know what our North Star is. EcoAction Arlington educates, advocates, and acts to create a sustainable community by improving our natural environment, encouraging environmentally friendly behaviors, ensuring environmental justice, and addressing the climate crisis. So that's a pretty big, tall order. And then our vision just kind of strips that down to a little bit of the magic of EcoAction. What we want for Arlington, our vision is everyone in Arlington is collectively engaged in creating a sustainable community. So I think that's like pretty easy. Like we all know what that looks like, hopefully, and that's something that's attainable. So something that we really are proud of and want to highlight is our tree equity program. So just for a little like what that means and kind of where it came from, EcoAction Arlington has been giving away trees at no cost since 2009. And for some reason, trees seem to live outside of political lines and are beloved by most humans. So it's, it's a pretty palatable gift is a tree. And so after we've given away trees for years and encouraging everyone to improve their outdoor spaces, we took a larger look at the county and made some impactful observations. In 2022, we launched the Tree Canopy Equity Program, and it is some of the most exciting work I can even think about. What happened was a heat island data shows where the heat accumulates within the county and where there's not enough tree canopy coverage. So the tree canopy keeps the heat down, among other things. And so with that data, we were able to find 10 neighborhoods to partner with to address the inequity. In those neighborhoods, yeah, there it is. Okay, hold on, I need to exit full screen so I can see my notes. Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, you can see the neighborhoods, so I won't read them to you. Well, I can. It's Arlington View, Aurora Highlands, Buckingham, Columbia Heights, Gleewood, Green Valley, John M. Langston, Long Branch Creek, Penrose, and Radnor Fort Myer Heights. So those are our 10 tree canopy equity neighborhoods. And what qualifies a neighborhood to fit in that category is Arlington County, generally speaking, has a 40% tree canopy coverage. And in these neighborhoods, the canopy coverage is between 17 and 33%. So it's significantly lower. And with that comes a lot of downside. Higher utility costs, a lower quality of life, poorer physical and mental health outcomes. And this environmental degradation disproportionately affects Black and Brown people, as in the case of these neighborhoods. So what we're trying to do is offset that, is like directly partner with our neighbors and community members to improve the tree canopy and have people feel like they can enjoy their neighborhood and be proud of where they live. So since this program was incepted, we've planted 105 trees and 78 shrubs in those neighborhoods. So what's coming next is we're looking ahead to develop more meaningful relationships with community members in these neighborhoods, as well as utilize the relationships we are developing with civic association members, houses of worship, apartment managers, and groups like yours to spread the word and build trust that planting trees can change and improve so many things. And I wanted to touch briefly, like jump out of the trees and into Energy Masters, because that also addresses environmental justice in a different fashion. So Energy Masters is the group that I mentioned that also extends into Alexandria, and that is led by Bill Campbell, and it's an all-volunteer group that delivers hands-on conservation upgrades and community education in affordable housing communities in both Alexandria and Arlington. So the mission primarily is to train folks on to do modifications in low-income housing complexes. And for a host of reasons, these are also linked to the racist history of our county. So most of the people living in low-income housing in Arlington, Alexandria are Black and Brown. So at the heart of Energy Masters' mission is to make habit-changing presentations to these audiences and relate them to saving money and contributing positively towards climate responsibilities. And so under Bill's leadership, as of this fall, we have the most diverse Energy Masters volunteer group we've ever had, to include 3 African-American women, 2 people from the Middle East, and 6 people who are fluent in Spanish. And like, that's what we want. We want to engage and represent the whole totality of our region. And then looking ahead, in 2021, our board developed an equity and inclusion policy in order for EcoAction Arlington to become more actively anti-racist and proactively inclusive as an organization. And these goals give both breadth and depth to EcoAction's mission statement to connect each one of us to a more sustainable world by creating a larger and more diverse community of people who treasure the natural world and work hard to preserve it. For all of this, working to diversify our staff as well as our volunteers. So that has been a big move. We've had a large turnover in our staff, which has been exciting, but also a little daunting. And as of this time, we have hired 3 people of color and are currently working to hire 3 part-time positions to serve as outreach ambassadors in our tree canopy equity neighborhoods to build those relationships that I mentioned. And we feel, and I think you could agree with this, that this forward progress is going to require a whole county approach as we work together to network and value the partners we have and to reach people who would never connect with us on our own. So we can only get this work done together, and that is why being here is such an honor. Oh, and then just to touch on exactly what's happening with the money that you all donated. So $60,000 is a lot of money. It's amazing. So what that's looking like on our end is we're using that to support the administration of the tree canopy equity program and to make trees more accessible and overcoming the barriers to participation. The money is not being spent on trees because the trees are already paid for. We have funding for that. But what we're paying for is staffing to get people on the ground, doing outreach, engaging and building relationships, and improving our website and application process so that as spring planting comes around, it'll be so much easier to get trees in the ground. That's all I have. That's it. JD, I can't hear you.
Sure, I got you. There are a few questions that that came in, of course, and I'm gonna see if we can get through a few of them, right, from our attendees. One of the questions was, let me see here. How can we honor all faith and spiritual traditions without demonizing those of us who choose to embrace Christianity? Now, that's a reach. There are some things about faith and spiritual traditions when we talk about the environment. If you want to say something about that, you may, but we have one more question on top of that. How do we get more people to understand why they should care about the environment?
Great question. So that I think is a very grassroots conversation. I personally did not know that just the disparity in the tree canopy. And I think just having conversations with people about, first of all, the fact that no matter where you live in Arlington County, there's free trees to be planted. That's huge. And then furthermore, just saying, you know, that this is a tenet of our work, the tree equity program, and just kind of getting it out there in conversations is the most natural and easiest way to address it, in my opinion.
Okay. Great.
Christianity stuff, I'm not touching that.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. You look, we get it all, and we are. People ask questions. I try not to filter too much of it, but I think I understand where they're coming from. Here's a question for you, and I think this is a question I'm gonna ask of all the speakers tonight. What are you doing there at EcoAction and the team to help promote, students and from our diverse backgrounds to engage in these environmental, and we talk about sustainability, jobs and initiatives within the county? I see a lot of times that this generation, our generation of folks my age, I'm 51, just to let you know, a lot of us are involved. But where I see a gap is with our youth, right? And there's so many competing interests in our community. But what are your thoughts? What is EcoAction doing to engage in a strategic way with those from diverse backgrounds?
Great question. Okay, so I was a former teacher and I was in the classroom in June of this year. We teach lessons in Arlington County schools. Last year we had, let me just look this up really quick. We taught lessons to 1,173 students. So we are in the schools, we are partnering with youth groups, we are having these conversations about how we can impact the environment. And what we're actually doing in terms of Giving Tuesday, which is like the Super Bowl of nonprofit work, we're highlighting our school programs and looking for engagement with our corporate partners to create more long-lasting relationships with schools. So that is exactly the work we're doing right now, is just trying to really pull together some long-lasting impact in that way, because I think what we are so lucky to have in our area is we have waterways within walking distance of a lot of schools, we have outdoor spaces, we have trails. Like Arlington County has so many great things, and if we can get kids out there and aware of the ways that impact can be made pretty easily, it'll empower them.
Yeah. Well, Heather, there's a lot of, we could talk quite extensively about environmental and climate justice and what EcoAction is doing. We at the NAACP, and again, I'm just an appointed member at this moment, we have did our due diligence to try to engage. But something you mentioned earlier about the $60,000, and I got a question that came in, right? And I just want to kind of be direct and fully transparent. So my understanding is that Arlington County has X amount of dollars that already goes to EcoAction for operations, payment of staff, outreach, things of that nature, right?
Yes.
And to what you just stated, $60,000 that came through the pass through from us is going to be used for what again?
It's being used to hire additional staff. So what we're looking to do is hire actual ambassadors who live in the tree canopy equity neighborhoods. So those are people who we can pay for their efforts to be community members on the ground working. And then we're also looking to streamline our web presence and our application process, and then also pay for some of the overhead of our staff member who does that work. So what's happened in EcoAction is in the last, I don't know, about year and a half, we have grown as a group of staff, and then this is just a piece of it. So hopefully that helps.
Well, you know, again, we appreciate the partnership. We know there's a lot of work to be done. Something I'm going to be helping the NAACP with in the short and the long term is identifying in a very strategic way, you know, those heat islands, those areas, working with those partners, i.e. Nonprofits and churches within our communities and just neighborhoods to see, you know, who would be interested in having some more trees, right? I come from a little town, a country town in South Carolina where there's more than enough trees, but I definitely understand the effect when we don't have appropriate, you know, canopy here and around in the city, right? Where there's a lot of concrete. There's a lot of disparities in outcomes when we lack the right type of tree canopy. And there's also some additional information out there. I was speaking with a head of the Civic Federation who's monitoring some of doing their tree canopy work, Ms. Glass. I want to see how we can work collaboratively, right? All organizations to get in front, because I heard some of the index by way how we are talking about the tree canopy is off a little bit, right, from what the county states and what's out. There's been some additional mapping done. So I think we need to get the truth, right, get to find out what's going on with the tree canopy here, where we actually are, and we need to march forward in our community. Would you agree?
Yes, 1000%.
Great. So we and I see a mention of Faith Alliance and Climate Solutions, which we're also working with. Like I said, there's a lot of people at the table, but I think in order for us to be effective, let's let peace and harmony prevail and see how we can move out collectively on some of these similar causes. But we thank you tonight. We appreciate the partnership. Thank you, Mr. President, for allowing me to bring Heather. I know the executive director, Eleanor, was going to be here, but y'all like all over the place tonight.
Everybody's all over the place.
We really appreciate you, Heather. At least you got your face. I think they took care of you and put you on network and social media over here and got you out there, right?
It's very exciting. Thank you so much for your time. And thanks for giving EcoAction the space to share. And thank you for the partnership. It's really, really meaningful.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good evening. Please stick around with us. We have some more.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks. Okay. Is Bill with us?
Yeah, JD, how you doing? Good to see you.
Let me get my, oh, here he is. The man, the myth, the legend, the numero uno, Mr. Bill Eger, our new climate policy officer here in Arlington County. Again, this is the first time he's with us here at the NAACP, at least in a formal manner. We may come back at some other time because, you know, again, when we talk about environment, climate, all those things, policies, there's a lot of information there, and I don't expect us on this call to be able to digest all of that in a matter of 10 minutes. But Bill, what I wanted you, and I'm glad to have you here, you can introduce yourself a little bit more, but talk a little bit about where you came from and what's your goals and what we're looking at as we close out 2023 and move into 2024 as it relates to the county and climate policy, but also I have one or two questions on the backside for you as well. So thank you for being with us this evening.
Yeah, thank you very much, JD, and thank you to NAACP Arlington for inviting me to speak tonight. Honored to join you and join an esteemed panel, Heather and Abre, who will speak, I believe, shortly after me. Just a really wealth of amazing people in our community in this region who are contributing to our broader efforts towards climate action and its relationship to climate and environmental justice. I just came to the county about a little over 6 months ago, 7 months now, and from the region here, came from our sister jurisdiction, the city of Alexandria, and joined the county in March. As of current, working to really establish what is a new office, the Office of Climate Policy and Coordination. It's within our county manager's office, which is, if you're not familiar, stands as our executive office for leadership of the county organization as a whole. We work closely across all of our departments and agencies, be it that of delivering environmental services, parks and recreation services, human services, economic development, and many other, police and fire, et cetera, many others. But working across those agencies to kind of support their broader relationship to our climate action vision and goals as a county. As of current, that currently stands is kind of resident in what we call our community energy plan, which is a part of what we call our comprehensive plan, a kind of large vision for the community's kind of approach and action towards addressing climate change here locally, as well as acknowledging and responding to the inevitabilities that come with the changing climate that we're already starting to largely experience. I don't think it's lost on anybody here over the course of the past 6 months. Many kind of experiences regarding extreme heat, more intense storms, and frankly, what had been unheard of before, that is kind of wildfire smoke and poor air quality that has come by way of drying planet, so to speak, in certain areas of the world. Largely to say, it's one data point amongst many that have occurred over the course of the past year, but as is current, it's at the current data trend suggests that this will be the hottest year on record, of historical record. And likely that that trend won't necessarily change into the future, and therefore a need for us as a community to understand the implications of that and how we be responsive. So to say that, and when it comes to climate justice and environmental justice, I think it's clear to this community, the county's work to better understand the historical injustices with many in our community, Black, Brown, people of color, and to really understand and center equity at the core of our approaches to delivering services and the kind of the broader quality of life that you experience here within the county. My part of that, I really am building an office that has kind of 4 core pillars. One is to take the work we do as a county and extend kind of that across what we call whole of government, take our broad, collaborative, and coordinated work as a county and continue to expand that into the space of our climate action work. Second is to work with you as members of our community and organizations, our businesses, our institutions, to extend that far beyond kind of the work we're doing into kind of a whole of government, whole of community, where we each play a role in our broader climate action work, either as an individual, as an organization, and kind of as a county, or collectively together. It's also to take our current programs that we offer and working across our departments who are central to delivering climate action or sustainability or energy programs to work to bring further those programs forward, communicate them to you as our community, the opportunities to participate and to kind of take advantage of the programs and events and opportunities that we already offer. Fourth is to support our work at the state legislature and kind of regulatory space, offer and articulate the county's vision and values when it comes to policy on climate, sustainability, energy, environmental justice, et cetera, in the state and in federal political realms. And then finally, and most specifically, is to really more closely bring together the equity climate nexus within how we view and vision everything from how we approach planning to how we deliver programs, acknowledging that environmental justice, climate justice, and our broader climate action work are in many ways 2 sides of the same coin, and to raise the floor, so to speak, of addressing climate action for those least amongst us and those who've been disadvantaged or where there's been injustices in the past, to really broaden how we approach that nexus of work, and working closely with our race team, which is a The Realizing Arlington's Commitment to Equity team, I imagine most of you have worked with in the past, bring our work together to realize that collaborative vision of climate action and equity work in concert. Just a few things that that we're currently working on in this space. We've mentioned, and my colleague Heather Jeff discussed the work of EcoAction Arlington, the tree canopy equity work, and our just broader support by the county of EcoAction's phenomenal longstanding benefit to our community, really leveraging the network of committed volunteers and members of our community to further expand their programs, providing us support and to everything from the tree canopy work to Energy Masters and advocacy writ large. It's also to say that working with programs like, or organizations like Faith Alliance for Climate Solution, who have consideration for and thoughtfulness of how to bring together our various spiritual and faith communities together to address climate action, as well as to address injustices that we experience in the county and the community. One other area of focus, we're beginning to undertake a process of review of our comprehensive plan, largely I could say a large document that includes the values and vision from everything from land use to transportation to energy, and to really, as I stated before, weave together more thoughtfully and central to that comprehensive plan, equity and climate and sustainability as core kind of visions, and how we think about all of our kind of planning and delivery of services to the community that extends everything to housing, transportation, zoning, planning, our forestry and natural resources, amenities and assets, and how those serve our community, be it for general amenity and quality of life, or that of serving as a means to mitigate heat island effect, and really weaving together how that all takes place within our kind of planning work of the county. Also working with many of our affordable housing communities to introduce greater energy efficiency and reduce energy burden on many in our community who have fallen into lower income brackets. Also to provide greater indoor environmental quality for public health outcomes, to improve public health outcomes within much of our housing stock that supports many of our disadvantaged communities. It's also to say to bring resources to, further resources to the community, be it that of weatherization programs and partners throughout the state, or and frankly, as the federal government begins to roll out further and further mass investment in energy efficiency for residents and business, to bring those resources to members of our community, be it by way of providing you information on how to access, or delivering programs that allow for you to access them directly through county or state agencies and programs. And with that, finally, also, I would just say is broadening out our means of delivering education and communication to members of our community on the value and why it is important to approach this work of climate justice, climate action, how it both benefits you as an individual for your quality of life, and then also raises awareness to where we do have injustices throughout the community, either historic or persistent over time. And so providing a communications platform in order to communicate those opportunities to all members of our community, race, creed, or otherwise. So with that, I will offer up an opportunity for questions. And JD, I don't know if you want to start, or if you'd like to facilitate questions from our community.
Thanks, Bill, for that brief overview. And as I stated at the onset of this conversation, I'm quite sure we could spend an entire meeting just dedicated to the work of environment and climate justice and what your office is doing here in our county. There were a number of questions that came in, and you can see there in the chat. But with the time we have limited, because I know our next speaker is already in the queue, let's talk about this part about how fast does our infrastructure and housing development need to change to meet our climate goals? Any thoughts on that as it relates to that question?
So your question is, how fast our housing stock needs to.
Infrastructure and housing development. Is it on pace to keep up with the change with our climate goals?
Well, I think what you're asking is, more importantly, with existing buildings, is number one, the efficiency and the kind of the cleanliness of energy resources on pace to achieve our climate goals. And I would say that unfortunately, I would say no. As a large community, I think we still have a long way to go. The county only has a certain opportunity to help support much of that kind of work. We have to rely upon our partners at the state and federal level, and then ultimately our private members of our community, like you, who may have households, or those who own and operate many of our multi-family dwelling units or affordable housing units, to take forward the work to improve the efficiency of our buildings and our housing, as well as to advocate for cleaning up our energy resources, like our electricity grid, and reducing reliance on fossil fuel use. It's also to say that, you know, there's tremendous improvements within regards to our public transportation system, the ART bus system, OMADA, providing you daily the opportunity to take public transportation as an alternative to a single occupancy vehicle. And that is, you know, largely been going on for decades, and has been tremendous asset in the community's efforts to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions and address climate change. And that continues on to today. It really is incumbent upon many of you to continue to utilize those resources as they are available, and to ultimately kind of reduce your own personal carbon footprint and greenhouse gas emission attribution in your daily activities, and how you kind of approach your own lives.
Yeah, real quick, if you can, I know I'm kind of put two of these questions. One I have, and then I'm gonna try to roll this. I asked earlier about, you know, how are we engaging with diverse, communities as it relates to educating and promoting opportunities, right, for about environment and sustainability issues, as well as jobs, whether that's internships, fellowships we can do internally to the county. And finally, if you know the answer to this one, I'm quite sure, but we have this bag fee, right, with the plastic bags of fee that the county has now. And just curious to know, you may not have this number, but how is that money being used, and since implementation of that tax, that bag fee that a lot of folks are paying for right now? You may not have the number, but if you can let us know, like, how is that fee being distributed and in the county, and where's the money going and being dispersed? It may have been, you know, in the final, you know, report. I don't have that track, but just curious to know how much we've obtained, and, you know, where's it going right now. But to the first part of the question, and then we're going to close out because our next speaker is ready. Yeah, let me answer the second question first, and just by saying that I don't have that precise number off the top of my head or available at the moment, but I'm happy to get that for you, and happy to provide some reporting on that. To the former question, you know, we partner strongly with communities like the NAACP, EcoAction, and this is one means of engaging with our communities. You know, we work closely with our school district, be it on a kind of operational side, or frankly our board and the school district board working closely. I think there's always opportunity to further those relationships and further how we bring education and communication around the importance around climate justice and climate action to many of, you know, our younger members of our community. And there's always opportunity to think about, we're partnering with you, with many other organizations, on how we can do that. Also working closely with our affordable housing community, for example, and many of our civic organizations to communicate out opportunities to engage in, be it volunteering or taking action in your own home regarding climate action or sustainability, or other opportunities to have impact on your local and the community's environment. It's also to say that Bill, real quick, and I know we're short on time, I just want to, just for our audience, so you're gonna have a budget coming up, right? But y'all gonna be working on the budget for next year, and you have carved out X amount of dollars, right, that you're going to have for your office, your programming. If I can ask, is there any money allocated out of in your program, in your office, for civic engagement or direct or strategic outreach as it relates to environmental and climate justice in our community? And this is the county. This is the county, not the nonprofits on the side, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Is there
have
any money? Are you planning on putting any there?
So right now that we're going through the budget development process, I can't specifically tell you what that budget will look like come its introduction in the February timeframe, but I would certainly take that as a recommendation to me right now to think about what that could offer.
Yes.
We also work closely with our public engagement teams, be it that which in the county manager's office or in our departments. And so there is allocated monies that we can think about how we might use for further engagement and education opportunities.
Okay. Well, thanks. We'll continue to have this conversation. I think, if you go over to Brian and her team and say, hey, they have a commerce plan, they have a marketing plan, they have strategic engagement. How much of that is actually tied to, informing our citizenry on environment and climate policy issues? I'm not sure, but I can see where you could perhaps work in unison.
Yep.
I want to see where there's perhaps some earmark money, something allocated in your particular budget that directs us to be intentional in how we do this work. So, Bill, thank you, brother. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you all.
Back and have you. We do have great to see you. All the best. I think we have our national director of the NAACP. Is Abre, are you with us?
I'm on.
Here she is. And we got her. Now, look at you. I know you were texting me back and forth. You're in the car. That's the great thing about virtual. We're in Arlington, NAACP. We're not trying to say, we ain't special. But for those you don't know, I'll let you tell everybody, Abre, because you're way out in California. You were just out here in DC last week or on the East Coast. You also in jury duty, so you just got off a little late. You pulled offside the freeway just so you can be with us and talk about environment and climate justice and let us know, one, what environmental and climate justice really is. Everyone has your resume and your background, but just talk to us and tell us at the national, the 30,000 foot level, where are we headed, what branches should be doing, and we really are thankful for you to be with us today. You want to talk a little bit about yourself? If you feel free to do so, but the floor is now yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. And to your point, I was, trying to get home from jury deliberations. I feel like I'm probably one of 10 attorneys in the country who actually ended up with on a jury panel. But here we are. So thank you so much for having me. I'm always happy to talk with branches, and definitely with your branch as active as you all have been in the community, and particularly around environmental and climate justice issues. It's always an honor to be able to talk about how we can work together and what we're doing at the national level. And I also want to introduce just very briefly Katie Moreland, who is also on the call. She's a fellow
Where's Kate? Oh, there she is. Let's get her highlighted. Let's get her
spotlighted.
Yeah, okay, everybody's here. All right, we got everybody. She's a fellow?
Yeah, she's a fellow in the center with for the Center for Environmental and Climate Justice in our national office. And so we're really grateful and thrilled to have her on our team. And so a little bit about myself is, and folks have my bio, I've been doing environmental and climate justice work for a long time, litigated a number of cases within this area, but also more generally within constitutional and civil rights, legal and policy issues for a number of years. I'm from the South originally. I went to school though in DC, and so I'm very familiar with Arlington, and then I moved to California after living in DC, in Maryland for a little bit as well, to work with migrant farm workers on fracking, air quality, water quality, other kinds of issues, and have been out in California ever since. But our national office, we focus on a number of different issues, and really just kind of taking a step back about how we kind of operate. we really look at our work from kind of the ground up. And so for us to be able to do the work at the national level is really important for us to continue to hear from you all, to continue to hear what are the issues that you all are facing. And then we are able to kind of build out strategy that is in coalition and in unity with the issues that you all are facing. And so we have 4 pillars, which are right to a toxic-free environment, energy, democracy, sustainable communities, and zero emissions. And so all of our work falls within one of those 4 pillars of work. You all have heard a lot about the work that we've done in Jackson, but that what you may not realize is that even though we were doing a lot of work in Jackson, part of the strategy behind doing that work in Jackson was so that we could build out models that can be utilized in other communities across the country. So the public education documents that we did for the town halls that were there, a lot of that information around like, what is water infrastructure? What does that actually mean? Or what does it mean when a state actually gets money for water infrastructure? What does that look like? A lot of those elements can be utilized within your branch, within Virginia, and across the country. And so you can go to our www.naacp.org/Jackson page, even though there's information there that may seem like it's more specific to Jackson, some of those same issues still apply in Virginia and Arlington as well. And so that's something to take a look. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. But what I do want to talk about is the fact that one of the things that we're continuing to do is follow the money as it relates to environmental and climate justice decisions. It sounds like that's also a theme that you all are looking at based on some of the questions that were asked earlier. That's really important to us as well. We know that there is a number of funding streams that the Biden administration has opened up due to the commitment around Justice 40 and around the executive order that was just signed on Earth Day this year, that there's going to be more intentionality from the White House on environmental and climate justice. And therefore, now we're seeing federal agencies and then also states, governors and state agencies by proxy who are getting more funding than ever to supposedly fix in historical problems that relate to environmental and climate justice issues. And so one of the things that we want to make sure is happening is that the money is actually reaching the communities that are supposed to go to, because we know that states, for the most part, are taking this money. In some instances, you have states who are taking more money than they actually bring in themselves. And so they're getting more money from the federal government than they actually bring in at a state level. And so this is really important to follow because, for example, if you have a state that is pretty much funded on federal investments, they should be held accountable to the residents of the community as to whether or not they're actually investing that money back into our communities. And in addition to, it just being invested, we need to be actually a part of those conversations. So some of the things that I hear, and I've heard this also as well with some of the work that you all have been doing, is there can't necessarily just be a rubber stamping of having a meeting, having presentations, but the input, it doesn't feel like it's a dialogue as to how the investments are actually happening. So if that's something that you all are seeing, that's something we want to know about, because that dialogue needs to be there. We are also doing a number of public comments and ensuring that the federal government hears our voice as it relates to what public engagement needs to look like. We recently actually submitted some public comments, and Katie did a presentation at our ECJ leader meeting with branches and state conferences across the country around the National Environmental Policy Act, revisions that were going to be implemented by the White House Council on Environmental Quality. And so part of what we felt was important to highlight was what public engagement looked like, because we know that public engagement has not necessarily always meant including our communities or centering our communities. And so that's something that we continue to monitor in a number of different processes. I know that you all have been working on electric vehicles more generally, and at a federal level, we are at a national level, excuse me, we're looking at how the Clean School Bus program is actually going. And so we know that there are a number of different school districts who are starting the process of ensuring that there are electric school buses within your school district. However, we're not going to stop that advocacy until school districts reach 100% of their fleet at using clean school buses. Why is this important? Well, sorry.
No, I just said yeah.
Yes. Like, we're in church. We're in church tonight. Yeah. And so, why is this important? We know that Black students are more likely to be impacted by diesel, by the particulate matter that comes from diesel, and they're more likely to actually use school buses. And so, because of this, we can't have, over $5 billion in investment, which is what the EPA has for the Clean School Bus program, going to places that do not include our communities. And so what we've done is we actually have a folder that actually has information broken down by each state as to how the Clean School Bus program impacts each state. And there have been a number of webinars that our local branches and our state conferences have held as it relates to this Clean School Bus program. And right now we're monitoring to see if there have been changes by the EPA as well, because there's the next round of Clean School Bus funding is actually out right now. And so that's something we're making sure there's the equity component. We know the first round that unfortunately that was not centered enough. But we've highlighted that for the EPA, and we want to ensure that the Department of Commerce, the Department of Education, all the other agencies who should also be, the Department of Transportation, all the other agencies who should also be involved, that they are actually working with the EPA to make sure that our youth are not left out of the conversation, and that they're not going to actually, potentially have an achievement gap because they are, continuing to have to take diesel school buses. We continue to look at water infrastructure. We're continuing to look at air quality, soil quality, and other issues that we know impact our communities. I don't want to belabor too much of the point, because I know I want to actually give you all an opportunity to ask us questions, because Katie and I both are here, and see what questions you all have for us, and would love to be able to partner with you all more.
Thank you so much, Abre. And yeah, it almost feels like church. And like I was telling the presenters earlier, the two earlier presenters, we can talk about environmental climate justice for hours. But what I really like, what you stated from all of this, is it's great to have meetings, right, and get in this virtual space. But I made a note here about what does public engagement look like, right? And that's tangible, and that you can see results. I find myself a lot of times, I speak with folks in our community. JD, we're going to get to it. JD, we're going to get. And in fact, they, I call it empty rhetoric. They, they'll say they're going to do something, but they never follow the string, right? It's like following the money. So in order to be effective in environmental climate justice space, you have to set out a policy, and you have to be willing to follow it from A to Z. And so can you give us or share with us just some methods that you found perhaps across America that have been effective in how we communicate with our minority audiences and more, and also our larger scale audiences? Any tools we can put in our toolkit, because it's challenging sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Even with the Kurtai, one of the things that we focused on in kind of thinking about,
well, a lot of folks don't know what Kurtai is. Here, I'm gonna need to tell them what Kurtai is, because most of them
okay. So our civil rights advocacy training institute, and so each of the centers has the ability to kind of focus in on a particular topic. Yeah. We focused in our topic for ECJ on NEPA or processes as it relates to like different projects that were potentially going to be built in your community. And so one of the things that I think is really important when it comes to public engagement is if there, for example, is a new project or something that's going to be built in your community, to ask questions early. Oftentimes you would think that because we've been building things and people, you know, agencies and other folks have been building things in our communities for such a long period of time that some of the basics should be kind of taken care of, but you'd be surprised at the thing, at some of the parts that are left out, right? Like, yeah,
I get it. I mean, we here, even in Arlington, not to cut you off, but I mean, we get that, and the fact that, you know, we set these goals to be carbon neutral, or let a new infrastructure to have a zero carbon or very low carbon footprint. However, we are still building, even here in Arlington. I'll leave it at that. Some large scale projects that aren't carbon neutral, right? And I don't see how you can be all about the environment and climate justice if you continually, you know, have these large scale projects, many buildings that are going to be around for 50, 60, 70 years, starting now, and we know what's on the horizon. How are you like even building it? I mean, so look, you know, we have these processes from inception where certain communities, stakeholders lean in, they weigh in, and sometimes it feels like it doesn't even matter because, like I said, but I want to open this up to someone who may have a question on the call. They can come off mute. Anyone here in our audience? And
I just want to put a pin in what you just said, because I think that it's about chiming in at the times where you're supposed to chime in, but I think it's also about chiming in at other times, right? Like even if it's not, you know, particularly where in the process it says, oh, this is where you're supposed to give stakeholder or community input. I think it's about asking questions whenever you see an issue. And I think that is a tactic that can be helpful. Great.
Thank you. Are there any questions from our team? I've already got one person that says, and they sent me a direct message. I won't call their name, but I would love to meet with Abre and Katie, but you know, separately. It's very impressive. So thank you for you know, being with us tonight. And Katie, thanks for sending over the email. I'll look at it. And can I share that with those that joined the call today? Is it okay?
I believe so. It's the NAACP's comments on the NEPA revision, so that's open for public and within in the branches.
In the branches, great. So I will share that. I'll get that over to our secretary so she can share. Is there anyone on the call, any of our members here tonight that have a question? Please unmute yourself and feel free to ask the question. Anyone? Mr. President? Mr. President say always follow the money.
Right, always follow the money. That sounds like NAACP is following the money.
Well, Mr. President, if you want to come on, I'll go to, this is a good transition to the backside of the meeting where I know the rest of it is yours, but National Director, Katie, meet our President, Mr. Michael Heminger. Thank you for being with us tonight. It is definitely a pleasure. We're firing on all cylinders here, I think, at the NAACP Arlington branch. And Katie and Abre, I'll try not to wear you out or ask too much of you because I know you're busy. with 200, 300 some odd branches across America, and plus the national board of the NAACP. So I know it. I get where you're coming from. With that being said, thank you. Any final words? Katie, you didn't say anything.
So everything Abre said was amazing, and I'm honestly here to learn as well too from y'all. It seems like you guys have such a robust branch with so many, like, I was sitting on the call at the beginning when you were going through all of your banquet and everything, and it just sounded so amazing and impressive. So as I officially, I think it's today. Today is my official month anniversary at the association. So I'm learning right along with y'all, and I'm very excited to be on the call and just hear what our branches are up to. It's so super cool.
Yeah. Are you at the main office in DC or Baltimore?
I'm remote right now. So I'm also on the West Coast. I'm in Oregon.
You're on the West Coast. All right, Madam Director, anything you want to close us out with? Any Scooby snacks? Anything to put in our toolkit?
But not right now. I just, continue to follow our social media as well. Please make sure y'all are coming to our ECJ leaders meeting, and really excited for the work that we're going to be able to do together.
Okay. Well, thank you. I know you had to pull off the three-way. Thank you again. And have a good night, freedom fighters. And I'm turning it back over into the hands of our president, Mr. Michael Imager. Thank you.
All right. Thank you again. On behalf of our branch, you can see all of our committees are firing on all cylinders. And I see some of you hovering over to that leave button. Give us a couple more minutes. We have a pretty cool video at the end I'd like to share with you. So just stick around with us for a couple more minutes. If you want to get involved, I'm going to put the ask out there once again. Environmental climate justice, we need your help. So it's a great way to get plugged in as well. All right, I don't think we have Pastor Davis with us. Pastor Davis, are you with us for religious affairs? Sister Dunkley, anything you want to say related to religious affairs?
No,
Okay. Anyone from housing?
No.
Education, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I don't really have anything to report at this time other than working with President on, like he said, the after school program, getting a meeting for that.
All right, awesome. I got a quick update from Political Action. Let me see if I can pull it up. She says she has to log off. The main updates for the Political Action Committee are reminding everyone to vote, 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 vote. You got a week to go, November 7th. Also, update on our voter engagement work, which you shared. And that's it for Political Action. Anyone from criminal justice? All right. Membership?
Oh, that's me. Hi. Hi again, everybody. Yes, I just wanted to encourage everybody that if you are questioning whether or not you're a member, please reach out directly to me at Assistant Secretary at arlingtonnaacp.com, and I can check it for you. Also, I want to let you know this is not a good picture, but I've been sending out these postcards. And when your membership comes due, I will tell you what your due date is or your expiration date is. I'll write a little message on the bottom, like you may or may not see here. I don't know how to get it to focus, but anyway, so don't ignore these. Please go ahead, and when you get this, there's a nice little QR code on the bottom that you can just scan and go right to the website. So I'm asking you, please renew. We are trying to get our membership numbers up because it's really, really important. It also helps us, be represented at the national level. We get a certain amount of votes when we go to conferences. So, membership is power. So please become a member. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone from Health Committee? All right. No one from Health. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. We're going to watch a video and call it a night. Give you back the gift of time. So in the spirit of, first VP, actually, thank you, second VP. I see you in the chat. First VP, any comments?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Second VP, did you want to address the membership?
Sure, just a quick save the date plug for the holiday party on, as Mike mentioned earlier, December 18th. We're looking at 6:30 start at the Walter Reed Community Center, and more information will come.
All right, thank you for your efforts on that. I see your comment on the link for the petition. I'll do that. And the first thing I'm going to drop is a link from Virginia NAACP, if I can get my computer to work with me here. I don't know if you saw the news, but we sued the Youngkin administration. There are thousands of people across Virginia that lost their right to vote. Virginia NAACP issued a FOIA. The governor's office came back with a bill of $10,000. State conference paid that bill. And then we found out what we knew all along. And so we filed a lawsuit against the Youngkin administration. There are thousands of people, like I said, across Virginia that lost their right to vote. We know of at least 2 people right here in Arlington. We've been following it really closely. One person has been given their right to vote back. It's been restored. And then there's another individual that we're working really closely with, along with a couple other organizations. So stay tuned. But like I said, we're firing on all fronts. The next thing I want to do is just show a quick video from Dr. King. Earlier today, you heard me talk a little bit about we need your help. I told you that it's all hands on deck. And so we're going to watch a video from Dr. King, and I feel like his words in the video are as true today as they were when he said them originally. So a couple thoughts that I'd like you to think about as we get ready to close out. You can stay with us for a couple more minutes. Take a moment to think about your own contributions. I want you to take a moment to also think about your life's blueprint, as Dr. King puts it. And then take a moment to ask yourself if you could be doing more. And notice I didn't say, are you doing all that you can, right? We know that that it takes a special person to be able to give all that you can. But as you watch this video, I want to encourage you to ask yourself if you could be doing more. Is there anything else that you could be doing to be moving the line forward? And then, pay attention to the quote that he closes with. It's one of my favorite quotes, and I hope you find it as impactful as I did. So say a little prayer for me as I get this technology queued up. I'm going to hope that it works with me. And I hope that you can stay with us for about 4 minutes as we close out with some words from Dr. King. All right, Madam Secretary or Past President, can you see my screen?
It says, yeah, it's coming up. There it is.
Okay, what do you see?
Just make sure I see. Yeah, I got it.
A commitment to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice. Don't allow anybody to pull you so low as to make you hate them. Don't allow anybody to cause you to lose your self-respect to the point that you do not struggle for justice. However young you are, you have a responsibility to seek to make your nation a better nation in which to live. You have a responsibility to seek to make life better for everybody. And so you must be involved in the struggle for freedom and justice. Now, in this struggle for freedom and justice, there are many constructive things that we all can do and that we all must do. And we must not give ourselves to those things which will not solve our problems. You've heard the word nonviolent and you've heard the word violent. I happen to believe in nonviolence. We've struggled with this method with young people and adults alike all over the South, and we have won some significant victories, and we've got to struggle with it all over the North because the problems are as serious in the North as they are in the South. But I believe as we struggle with these problems, we've got to struggle with them with a method that can be militant, but at the same time does not destroy life or property. And so our slogan must not be burn, baby, burn. It must be build, baby, build. Organize, baby, organize. Yes, our slogan must be learn, baby, learn, so that we can earn, baby, earn. And with a powerful commitment, I believe that we can transform dark yesterdays of injustice into bright tomorrows of justice and humanity. Let us keep going toward the goal of selfhood, toward the realization of the dream of brotherhood, and toward the realization of the dream of understanding goodwill. Let nobody stop us. I close by quoting once more the man that the young lady quoted, that magnificent black bard who has now passed on, Langston Hughes. One day he wrote a poem entitled Mother to Son. The mother didn't always have her grammar right, but she uttered words of great symbolic profundity. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stab. It's had tacks in it. Boards torn up, places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, I've been a-climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you stop now. Don't you sit down on the steps, 'cause you find this kind of hard. But I'm still going, boy. I'm still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Well, life for none of us has been a crystal stair, but we must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but by all means, keep moving.
All right, y'all. So
yeah,
that's right. So I asked you to join us in this fight. If you're not a member of the branch, it's a great time to do it. So we need all hands on deck. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. And
Mr. President.
Good night.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
You did have I think someone, she came in late, Janet Valenzuela came in. If you want to say something to her, I know she's doing a lot with our youth and kids, but she just joined us. You know, Janet.
Hey, Jeanette, are you with us?
Yes, I'm sorry I was late, but I heard half of the meeting. But I thank you for doing this, for putting up this type of meetings, and very emotional about the video and the message that Dr. Martin Luther King gave us. You know, even if you cannot walk, even if you cannot run, but keep going. And
that's right.
Actually, that's what we need to do. We need to keep going and pushing for things that is right for our communities, for our kids, for our families. Thank you so much for that video.
Yeah, thank you, Jeanette, for all that you're doing, and we're gonna solve this. I know we can do it. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.